Shalom, shalom, everyone. It is your brother, Will, son of Yah, and welcome back to the channel. Today we will be going over some brief history regarding the Judeus Negros of the Caribbean islands. Hope you all enjoy, and thank you for tuning in. If we were to go to the book, The Negro in the New World by Sir Harry Johnston, on page 36, we could learn that within the Spanish colonies of the Canary Islands, Hispaniola, and Cuba, besides the indigenous slaves, you also had Moorish Jews from Majorca, Jews and Moriscos from southern Spain who were also enslaved in these colonies. Interestingly enough, if we go down to the footnotes, it tells us that the word blackamoor or Moor within the different translations of English, Dutch, German, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, and French were all early names of Negroes. So could it be possible that these Moorish Jews from Majorca and Moriscos from southern Spain were also Negroes? Now, a few pages back on page 27, Sir Harry gives us a racial element or racial elements of the Jews. In fact, he says the Jews are composed of 3 or 4 separate racial elements. The Asiatic Negroid strain shows itself occasionally in the curly hair, the long eye, and proportions of the skull. The Jewish hybrids with the Negro in Jamaica and Guyana reproduce most strikingly the Assyrian type. So we can see that there were actually Jewish Negroes in the Caribbeans and islands like Jamaica and Guyana. So it's safe to say or propose that some of these Jews from Spain and Majorca were possibly of this Jewish Negro type. And even if we was to take it a little further within this book, on page 268, Jewish Negro types are identified or listed out within the book. It reads, on the Legislative Council of today, only 4 of the elected members are of unmixed Nordic European descent. 4 are all of well-known Jamaican Jewish families, descended from the Spanish and Portuguese Jews of Guyana and Brazil. 1 member is of absolute Negro of Bahamian birth, and the remaining 5 are octoroons and mulattoes of Jamaican birth. So we see within these islands, they identify some of these Jews as absolute Negroes, as well as octoroons, which means 1/8 black, as well as mulattoes, which we know means black and white. Going down to the footnotes, it reads, this is the reason why at the present day, not only are the Spaniards and Portuguese names very common among the apparent white and English inhabitants of Jamaica, but why not a few rather handsome, Moorish-looking Negroes equally bear high-sounding Spanish names? So we can see that there was clearly a Jewish Negro or Judeus Negros presence within the Caribbean islands. But it gets deeper, because taking a look at the book Nature Knows No Color Line by J.A. Rogers, he says something very, very profound on page 129 through 130. It reads, many of the Jews who were banished from Portugal by John II settled in the West Indies. John Bigelow, who visited Jamaica in 1850, saw the descendants of these Jews and says they were Negroid. So as we can see, according to accounts, the descendants of the Sephardic Jews from Spain, from Portugal, did end up in the Caribbean islands, and a lot of these people's descendants were Negroid, or so-called people of color. Now to conclude, within the Caribbean islands, Jewish heritage mysteriously survives in the family names of the black-skinned inhabitants. Many of these islanders with names like Levy, Cohen, Da Costa, and Henriquez must have some Jewish heritage, even if they do not know about it. Shalom, and thank you for tuning in.
A little bit about the Sephardic Jews and how they were scattered because they went west.
I sure can.
Because the reason why I want to is because a lot of them, and a lot of people don't know this, are in the Caribbean.
They are.
In the islands.
And you're one of them. I know that.
I'm one of them.
I know that.
Because, a lot of folk don't know that those roots are there. One of the first batches of slaves that came to Jamaica, they were the Sephardic Jews. It's the first batches of slaves that came to Jamaica. They were the Sephardic Jews. It's documented.
And they're all over the Caribbean, South America, Central America, and even the South Central United States.
Pouco se fala sobre a ancestralidade do povo negro. Você sabia que existem judeus negros e brasileiros? Pois é, a gente vai ouvir hoje a história do nosso amigo Raiz Editon, que vai contar essa história maravilhosa pra gente. Porque aqui, gente, no Cultini na TV, o povo fala.
Que Xalu saúde seus povos, já o eterno de Moisés seja convosco. A minha ancestralidade eu sou bisneto de Esté Mohamed Aleixo, família Aleixo que veio disso para o Brasil durante a escravatura. Família direta, descendência de Moisés, pertencente à tribo de Levi, tribo sacerdotal e do povo de Israel. Vocês sabiam que a base do judaísmo é africana? E vocês sabiam que Moisés era negro? Então, isso é a verdadeira face do judaísmo é africano e Moisés era negro. E hoje eu estou contando para vocês um pouco dessa história, um pouco da base pilar e principal do judaísmo, através da minha ancestralidade. Eu, Raizeste Shelomo, Dias Aleixo, pertencente à família dos Lemba, os Lembas que é o povo de Araão, irmão de Moisés, da tribo de Levi, tribo sacerdotal, a única tribo e pertencente à tribo sacerdotal e, por coincidência, a tribo de negros, eram todos negros. Então, na história do povo de Israel, todos os sacerdotes e a dinastia sacerdotal do povo de Israel é negra. Não existe sacerdote do povo de Israel branco, mas são todos negros.